Alrighty then, this is the fifth planet Keyforge, and I am here. That is the intro from yesterday. I don't even know why that's still on my list, but there was a show yesterday, if you missed it on YouTube and on Twitch, that was basically talking about how the people were paired in each of the groups for week one, and week one is on its way. Good morning, Kidman. Bon dia, ¿cómo estás? But today, what I want to do is instead of playing Keyforge like I normally do just for fun and stuff like that, I'm going to go and look at data, and I want to see some of the. Yeah, it is late, isn't it? Boa tarde. but for me, it's bon dia. It's still like only 9 o'clock for me. So, but the uh, the interesting thing is like we did a picker sheet, right? And that picker sheet basically let us look and see who the favorite for each group was according to the people, right? So this is like basically an opinion poll guess type thing. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through those and see the person that is the most expected to win, and then let's take a look at the three decks that they're bringing for Triad, and let's take a look and see what they might be doing on things. Have I settled my bet? Like I don't. I mean I'm always with Jay Felipe because he's one of the OGs of the United Archons Prime. So when you guys decide to join with the United Archons Prime, then I guess it would be harder. Nah, but we'll see what happens. Like hopefully, because we need a European branch, and that would be awesome to have a bunch of Portuguese guys on the team. That would make my day. I love you guys. So. With that said, what I want to do then now is I want to get some of the data. I'm gonna like open up the things. I'm not going to show you the percentages or the actual sheet of the people that picked and what they picked, but I'm going to tell you basically who the number one person was, and then we'll take a look at their deck list and we'll see what kind of deck they are bringing and seeing if we think that is going to stick. Should be fun. Oh, is the music way loud? It's probably loud. I don't have it turned down like I normally do. It was set for like having a co-commentator, so there you go. Music down, talking up. All right, so let's look at. Let me make sure that I'm set up to do this correctly. Okay, let's take a look at Group A, and Group A is basically one of the U.S. groups. It'll take me a little while to open everything up and get everything set, but. I want to make sure that we are able to show you guys this stuff without leaking information that I don't want to be leaked. All right, so here we go. All right, so this is Group A. Group A was basically X-Ray Creator, J Power, Grant Titus, Just a Guy Playing, Ewok Jr., Unarmed Goat, and Future Beans. So interesting here because we have Just a Guy Playing who was a top 16 player last season, and then like the rest of the people are new to the KFPL. So with that said, who do you guys think was the favorite to win this division according to the people's poll? That is the quick question. As you think about that, I will set you up on the idea that this person was chosen by a decently wide margin. His second place person behind him was like he was a good like 10+% above him. So this was a pretty popular pick, and it's not surprising, I guess. And yeah, Jay Philippeg, you are right. You get 1 point for guessing Grant Titus. Grant Titus is a known face, right? Like he's been around for a while. I was with Team SAS, now with like the leader of KIP, and it was interesting to see like the amount of love that he gets, and he's like, I barely know anyone. That's fair. But let's take a look at the decks that Grant is bringing to the table now, and see like what kind of fun stuff he thinks can win the KFPL. Is that right? That can't be right. Is that right? Hmm. I'm guessing this is right. Okay. So Grant is bringing some interesting stuff as far as it goes. So let's take a look at the first deck. We'll look at his AOA deck. Grant, if you're here, kudos on you for bringing a 66 SAS deck to the Big Boy show. Guessing that people will probably overlook the value of this deck, but the value here is interesting. It's a Heart of the Forest deck with double Nepenthe Seed, so like there is a trap card, right, with the thing. You have the Key Abduction, Hypno Beam. I guess it makes sense. The memory chip, right, and having Nature's Call with the Heart of the Forest, but it does have a key charge out, so that's good. It doesn't have a way to actually kill its own Heart of the Forest though, so he's definitely playing from behind this whole time. With no amber control means that he's not going to gain unnecessary amber that he doesn't want. So he's looking to basically tie up the game and try to get a win on value towards the end of the game with the double Nepenthe Seed and the key charges and stuff. So, hey Map, good morning or good evening for you guys. It's getting later for you guys. So here we have a very interesting deck, interesting choice, because this is a deck that a lot of people, I think, there's a lot of artifact dependency, yeah, but like I think that this deck is actually pretty hard to pilot, and a lot of people might not understand the threat that comes with this deck. And if they don't have artifact control, this could be a very one-sided deck. 35 minutes to win with might be hard, but I'm sure Grant has practiced playing it, and he'll know how to tempo this thing to the right speed to win. So. I am by no means a Heart of the Forest pro. Jason is. Jason probably coached him up on it. So power to Grant. I know that there is a trick. There are tricky things happening here. Lots of archiving, so he's gonna be able to drop some major turns here. He does have the key abduction to win as well as the key charge. So this is pretty scary. 66 sass is pretty strong, but this is stronger than it looks, right? Like this is one of those cards that goes under the radar, and I think it has a lot of value. This isn't that bold, honestly. I'm telling you, this is a sleeper. He's playing on the numbers here. This deck can do some damage, so crazy. So second deck that he's picked is a Worlds Collide deck, which is 93 sass, and this is kind of more what I expect to see from people that are playing in the league this season. There's a lot of high-end decks. Kind of daunting for some people, but like it's just a league, right? Like we're here to have fun and enjoy the game of Keyforge, and in saying that, like that means like you made it here, right? So you're already doing well. It's not really a lot of stress to play. You just got to play the games and enjoy them. Hopefully nobody will be horribly rude or anything, and you just enjoy the games as you play. So this Grant's deck here, Letha Cloud, 93 sass, double Exhume, Poltergeist, so it has artifact control, nice. Harbinger is there with the Gleeful Mayhem. So there's ways to instantly kill off the Harbinger if he wants to board wipe. Has the Cutthroat, the interdimensional graft for some scaling amber. Has the stealth mode, which is a great card to interrupt with. Double comms officer, double Kincane. Has the encounter suit. Quadricorder Kincane Blaster, which is the best of the blasters, I think, in my opinion, like for the thing you get off it. But they don't bounce, so not as good as it used to be. Lots of speed, like it's going to move through your deck with the stuff that you see in logos. You have double Neutron Shark, amazing for board, just domination. So yeah, this deck looks like a beast. Like this deck is going to probably do pretty well. I would not be surprised if this one is banned over the Heart of the Forest, as I think it's a lot scarier. Double Neutron Shark is actually fantastic. I'm a big fan of that idea, and we'll see what happens. So for his third deck, he's playing a Mass Mutations Chinese deck, I'm going to call it, because I don't know what it's called. It has quotes, so it's got to be something cool. But maybe as the league goes on, we'll get names of these nicknames for these Chinese decks. But here you see Double Harvest Time, very underrated card at this point. Double Faust, you have the Wonder Twins and Saris and Cilia and Saurian, triple Infernus, excuse me, Mark of Dis. So you're just playing high quality Mass Mutation stuff. I don't know how the pips line up, but I'm sure we could look here and see like if there's anything clever. Oh man, this is like loaded up as 3 amber pips. What is that? Can't tell because it's in Chinese. But it looks like that is Dance of Doom. That is Mark. This is so what is this one? This one's got to be Harvest Time. No, that's not Harvest Time. Harvest Time's got Capture. This one is Double Doom. Break Key? Yeah, it's Break Key. So Break Key has a ton of amber pips on it. That's interesting. It has 3 amber pips on break key. So that's kind of a nice spike there. And then you see lots of amber based on all 3 of the all 3 of these have amber as well. So you get a little bit of speed out of Untamed. So this is pretty good. No Dav, you sure this is a Kip lineup? Yeah, like no Dav, but on this go. But there is a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot of capture and like just game state taxing with the Infernus's to try to lock the game down late. Infernus is really good, so and it has 15 raw amber, so it's not going to be moving slowly. It's going to be putting a lot of pressure on. So this is a pretty wild looking tempo deck. I like the idea of it. I like what I see. I'm sure Grant will do very well with these choices. So that was, whoops, why do I keep hitting that stupid button? I want to get rid of it. Let me do that real quick. Because I don't want that thing on my list anymore. That is the one from yesterday. Alright, so there we go. So now we'll turn this back off. Alright, cool. So that was Grant in Group A. He is the favorite coming out of Group A. So that is cool tidings. Like, I wish him the best. He's a good guy, and I'm excited to see what Kip does in that group. So let's see. Let's pull up the second the second chart. Let's see. How did I do this? I did it once. I can do it again. I know it. There it is. So for Group 2, let's go to Group 2. Group 2, we have Shaka, Flaming Hobo, Rodion, Aviator, Frozen Tauntaun, Corey Than, and Xander for the win. So Xander for the win, and Grant was my choice. I'll tell you my choices too. I don't mind being public with my choices, but Grant was my choice to win Group A. So no hard feelings for anybody in Group A. Love y'all, but I actually, was it Grant that I picked? I don't remember. Let me look. I might be wrong on that. I could be lying to you right now. Who was my pick? No, I did not pick Grant. I picked Jay. So I picked Jason to beat Grant. So, wild take. I guess I'm not the popular opinion for Group A. So I did pick Jason. So going on record with that. And for Group B, this is basically the group that has some cool people in it. So let's look at it. So we got Group B. We have we'll do it this way so that people on the rewatch can watch what you guys are typing in the chat as well. So Group B, we had Shaka, Flaming Hobo, Rodion, Aviator, Frozen Tauntaun, Corey Than, and Xander for the win. The person that won this won by a lot as well. And I'll let you guys take a guess before I give you the full answer to who you think that person might be. I'll give you a hint. It's not a big surprise, but it wasn't my pick. It was not my pick. I'm such a rogue. Kidman's just gonna throw out names. He's gonna go with Shaka. That's not a bad pick. Shaka's a great player, but this one was like a runaway for Corey Than. I could check your picks for you, but either way, like yeah, Corey Than like ran away with this group because most of the people in this group nobody really knows or they haven't seen play. So Shaka was second, but and then Flaming Hobo third, which makes sense because those are the 3 people that are the most known and on teams and have some exposure. And Corey Than being the godfather of DOK makes it kind of obvious that he would be a favorite choice for the people. But in this group, I went with Rodion. Rodion is my choice for this thing. He is playing my decks, so I have high hopes for that. As I think you guys might be surprised by that. But why don't we take a peek then now at the Corey Than or the Corey Than's decks. There's a lot of entries too. There's over 75 entries for this, so that's crazy. There we go. Yeah, two-time Voltar runner is also a good reason, and you know, I'm not hating on the choices. So going to Corey Than's deck list, let's take a peek and see what he is playing. I can guarantee you that one thing is like I haven't seen them, I haven't seen any of this. This is the first time I'm looking at stuff too. I guarantee you he's playing Anteater because that's like his pride and joy deck, right? And there it is. Yeah, he is playing it. Okay, cool. So let's take a peek at Corey Than and what he's bringing to the table. Doo-doo. So let's bring this in. This is basically a deck with what is that? Arabic writing, I guess. So like I don't know what it's called, but I'm sure that there's a nickname for it. This is his Mass Mutations deck, 85, and this is basically the deck that has a ton of value. Like in speed, cyber cloning is great. Super fast, has board wipes, 2 board wipes and stuff. Doesn't have a scaling amber control, and it doesn't have any kind of like key cheat or something. So you can outpace this deck if you play it well enough and basically keep pressure and just keep a faster tempo. But you do have to look out for things like Infernus and stuff on the backdrop to basically pull back the game as far as your amber push and stuff like that. But he doesn't have like doesn't have too much here that is gonna hurt the heart if you want to push your amber. But the speed of this deck is what he's relying on. It is super fast, and this is smoke. Yeah, he's like super fast. So like keeping up with the amount of amber that it's gonna produce and staying ahead of him might be harder than it sounds. So but we'll see what happens with smoke, and we'll see if the smoke can get there. 20F is absolutely insane. And with things like Cyberclone and stuff to help purge out like bigger creatures and things like that, it's pretty strong play. Double Daughter, double Infomorph, lots of drawing. See that there's 7 draw pips like on the card. So like you have like 2 of them on the Eclectic Inquiry. That's crazy. That's so much speed just in that one card alone. And you have like the Maleficorn and the Dark Minion. So he has some in Dis. Both Dark Minions have draws. That's crazy. One has a capture as well. Man, this deck has got some gas to it. Like this is a fast deck. So with that said, so this is pretty sweet. Best group in the bunch, huh? Okay. So his second deck is Deidre, Nathan's Seat Viceroy. This is another one of his favorites. I probably could have guessed he would have played this one too. 91 Sass. This is his namesake, so he loves it. Double EA on the fringes. Lots of board control presence again. Only hope to beat it really is to outpace it, and it does things to get to where it wants to get to quickly. It has lots of capture back potential, good steals with the EAs, and it has like exhume, double exhume, so lots of value there. And it has a Senator Baracus to go along with everything, and it's paired off with the Odak and the Centurion Stempalopolis, whatever how you say that, Shrix. So lots of like amber value like drawn onto the dino creatures, which is pretty good. And having triple Imperium means that you can protect them, so that's going to be hard to deal with. You have the stealth mode for interruption, the red alerts for combat, like getting the board back if the board is out of control. Helmsman Spears, a must deal with when it comes into play. This deck just does lots of great things, so expect this deck to do fairly well. And so now we'll move on to Anteater, which most of you should be familiar with. It's only 86 sass, but this is one of his favorites, I know for a fact. But super fast again. Triple Mother with Time Traveler means you're drawing a metric butt ton. That's a proper term of cards, and you're going to basically be able to push out all these other cards in other houses because you're drawing so much with the Logos house. And you have double Control of the Weak, which is the best card in the game. Double Life Ward means super oppression. Like the disruption factor of this deck alone is amazing. Then you get into shadows and you see bait and switch, and you see like Umbras and Urchins and like the shadow goodies. Probably not the strongest shadows that I've seen, but I will say that it does enough to be great at what is happening here. And this deck is all based on disrupting you by basically making you either waste turns with Control the Weaks or have extra cards back in your hand because you can't play them with Life Wards, or putting them back with lights out. Like this is just like a really strong tempo deck. I like it a lot. The Schuler's there for some amber control. This is Anteater. This is like one we've seen before. We've seen Nathan play it. I'm a big fan of this deck. This deck is pretty cool. So with that said, that is Group B, and Group B's favorite to win right now is Corey Than, and we will see if that holds true to the end game here when we get to that. So I think I closed down my sheet on accident. So this will take me 1 second to get back to it. Alright, so we're going to go now and look for predictions for Group 3, or I should say Group C, and see who the top cut of that prediction is, as Jupiter learns how to use Google spreadsheets. Alright, let's see. That was Group A. I don't want Group A, I want Group C. Delete chart. Group C. Give me Group C. There we go. Group C. So Group C is, let's show the bracket. Group C is Vaps, 1-Star Peeps, Oogluk, SC Steel, Sad Crybear, Dave Cordero, and Dr. Sheep. This is the Mad Lad group, because both Oogluk and Sad Crybear qualified twice for this season in the qualifiers. So this one is basically another runaway. So who do you guys feel took this one? I'm on Oogluk. Well, you know what? It turns out that on a runaway score of other people that are looking at this group, Oogluk took it down quite considerably, over 20 points. I'll say that, 20-point percentage. Like, you are the dominant choice, Oogluk, for this group. So let's take a look at your decks, and since you're here, we can get some live commentary on the choices that you made. So let's see what Oogluk is rocking for Team Kip. This is a lot more fun than me playing, I think. So I'm having a joy of it. So, all right. So Oogluk, let's see. Boom. All right, like the first deck he has here is an AOA deck, 87 SAS. Pretty good. Speed, insane. As he has a 21 speed, but his is a little bit harder to get off because it is triple Sutterkins. But if one of those Sutterkins stick, like it could be going to town with those rocket boots on the Sutterkin, so that's amazing. We do see Restrictor Guntus, which has fallen off in popularity lately because of all the Amber Pips and mass mutations, but you can minimize that by getting rid of mass mutations, right, Oogluk? And so like that could help in that case, as this is a very strong Dis House. And then you see double Martian Generosity, so that is where most of the speed comes from, as Generosity is going to let him rip through his deck and repopulate all these things with double standardized testing, unlock gateway. 3 Fates, I see him holding the board quite well and quite easily, and if he gets out ahead early and straps on that Bronze Key Imp, who knows where this deck could run away to. But Oogluk with a strong choice here. Do you have any words about this deck that you'd like to share, Oogluk? This deck is pretty insane. Like lots of board control, lots of raw amber, lots of just speed. So this is like all the good stuff that you want in a deck. So I'm pretty sure that this is his favorite one of the 3. You shouldn't have said that. Now that people are just gonna ban it to get rid of it. But let's see what else you have online here. We have this is Leebuk, right? Like I know, like I remember we had a pronunciation on this at one point, but it's like Leebuk. This is Sad Panda, right? From Jason's collection, I think. So this is Sad Panda, yeah. So this deck is absolutely gas. Eaton's Jar is a all-star here. It's going to do some work. You have like just great things that happen with this deck. This deck just plays super good. The Nels and the Val Jericho are going to put a lot of pressure on people, and lots of just gas. And like the Infernuses don't help either later in the game. Bouncing Death Quirk, like just. This deck is well known. This is the deck that Jason qualified on, and this is, yeah, the pip placements are actually insane in this deck as well, as you can kind of see. Oogluk has them here, but there is basically very balanced and very strong draw icons throughout. A lot of draw icons on the enhancements, like all the enhancements that would be popped onto Nell and be brought back, are basically hyper value, right? Like so. Yeah, this deck just flies. Like, we've seen this deck before. Don't have much more I could say about it other than that. Good luck with this one. This one should be banned a lot. Eaton's Jar is really good in this deck, and it has tons of tools. So this is definitely ban bait so that he gets to play his double Martian Generosity. So it's a tough flip between the two. That's the Mad Lad deck. I guess so. It is pretty mad. So his last pick is the Vayne Praetor. Ah, this is a deck I sold. I let Jason have. This is a deck I had in my grasp, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to make Mark lose $100 extra on it. So like, I basically let it go back to Jason. And this is one of my biggest regrets. This is a great deck. Ghost form in its finest here. Does lots of crazy things. Yeah, I had this deck purchased, and I'm not gonna say the amount, but it was a good amount at the time, back when the flow was good, and I had it purchased, and Mark was going to honor the purchase that I had, even though Jason came over me by $100 basically, and I talked to Jason about it a little bit, and like, I didn't want to take from Mark, so I did let it go to Jason, and I love Jason anyway, so like, he would have ended up with it at some point anyway. And this was a deck I was going to play in Albany. It was my goal when I purchased it, when I was thinking about purchasing it. This was a deck I had targeted for Albany, and actually I think Jason ended up playing it in Albany, but with good reason. This deck is amazing, one of the best ghost forms in the game, I think, as far as what I've seen and use. So this deck is absolutely great gravy, and this is one that I'd let slip through my fingers. So awesome. I'm glad to see this deck in the event. This is this is a really great deck, and I will just say that it basically plays off of good speed, good values, and like just constant pressure. So this is like a perfect kind of deck that I like. The triple the triple eddies are absolutely insane. The amount of archiving that this deck does is nuts. Having a ghost form on an eddy is all but good game if you don't have a bounce card. So what makes this deck so good? This card right here helps a lot. It's called Ghost Form. The creature is invulnerable, and so that means it can't be. If you don't do anything with the creature, like, it cannot be destroyed or nothing like that. And then you basically have cards like Eddie that basically come into play and make your keys cost 1 for each card in your archive, but it also archives a card. So there's 3 of them, so you start to really load up. Tau Vapors will help you add another card. And then there's just really great things happening with things like City State Interest, which is going to put captures Amber across the board. You have Grim Locus in here to protect your anti-steal cards like Odak and Strix for extra value. You have Tribute Pontus. That means that all that Amber that you're putting across the board becomes +2 power per Amber on a creature. Like, it's just a value deck. Like, it plays is nothing that breaks your neck when you look at it, like, or think about it, but it just does really great things. And then it has one of my favorite tempo cards and board control cards, General Order 24. I absolutely love it. It's pretty good, and this deck is absolutely nuts. I love it. Again, it's a deck I wish I had not let slip through my fingers, but at the same time, like, I believe every deck has a good home, and that one went to a great one. So I love the Kip guys. They're fun people. All right, cool. So with that said, that was Group C, and we'll move on here now to Group D. Since most of the people listen in the morning, I figured this would be better than me playing. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this as we move forward. It's a lot more interactive for me as well too, so I do actually like it. All right, so we are moving to Group D. So I need to go over to Group D. I need to check the top seeds for Group D. Let's get a chart on that one. All right, so let's see. Group D, we have a very close margin here. Group D is one that actually is so close I have to look hard to see who won this. This one is the one that J. Phil and Kidman are in. So this one has an interesting distribution. We have 3 people all like hyper close in voting, and all 3 people are is very interesting. Oh, I didn't tell you, like, for what I picked for my last one, that for Group C was Ugluk. So I'm on the Ugluk bandwagon there. Not surprised. Like, you can't go against a guy that placed in the top 4 and seems to win at every event he goes to. So like, I had to go with Ugluk at that rate. And yeah, So we'll see what happens with that. So here the top person is Jay Philippe. So we get to look at your decks now, Jay. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. And Jay Philippe, you were my choice for Group D. I just want you to know. All right, but let's see what we got here. I gotta go with Jay Phil. He's been on my team like for everything. Like I've been on him with Coat. He's my first Portuguese friend in Keyforge. Now he's brought me a whole bunch more. Have you beaten him? You might have a chance. Uglik was your 7th pick on Group C. I believe it. I believe it. All right, so the first deck that we see that Jay Philippe is bringing to the mix. Let's talk about it. 87, Der X Das Funkens. I don't know if that's probably not even close, but lateral shift and lots of great stuff here. This is a pretty amazing deck. In the idea of what I like in a deck, right? Lots of amber control. I kind of am sus a little bit on the amount of creature control, but I'm assuming that you're trying to win quick here and just kind of doing the tempo back and forth. Like you make amber, I take amber, you know, make amber, take amber. So pretty interesting. Lateral shift can be board control, so lateral shift is like the ace in the hole for any kind of deck that has a little bit of a hole in it. But this deck has like a lot of just tools. Like it's playing good tools and like lots of good things going on. And I think that this deck is just gonna be annoying to some people. Jay Filippo. All right, this is one of your own decks too, I believe, right? Because I think I remember seeing this in one of the Coat leagues when we were looking at decks. So this deck is one that he has value too because he's playing his own deck. So like he knows how it works, and I think that is. A big part of being successful in a tournament environment is how many reps you have in with the deck and how much time you put into preparation. Very big thing. So if you need reps, we could play games, Jay Phil. Hit me up in the team chat. All right, so now his second choice is Countess Bentak Tawiz Holmes, 80 sass, so it's not a slouch. Has a Rise Gateway combo, has Poltergeist, has like all the trimmings for a good dis set, as it has Schuler Terror, has the Drumble, so you get some kind of recursions going on there. You look over at the shadows, you have the Bait and Switch, Triple Nerve Blast, Oubliette for removing those pain in the butt smaller creatures that you don't want to deal with, Customs Office to help tax all the artifact stuff, and like this is like doing pretty good stuff. And then Untamed is Curiosity, which is gonna be good with a heavy amount of logos, I think. That card might be a sleeper as far as like the value it has. Grasping Vines is good for tempoing out like all those silly Heart of the Forest decks that you might run into and things like that. You got Nepenthe Seed, Ancient Bear, Big Twig. Like the Untamed is not great, kind of sus, but overall, like the deck looks like it's pretty solid. And again, I think this is one of your own. I'm guessing you played all your own stuff. Yep, that's definitely his own. So again, he'll have the familiarity and the reps with it that he'll know exactly the little tweaks and things he needs to do to win with this deck. So overall, it looks interesting. I find that the recursion factor is pretty high. The speed is going to be a little bit slow, but it's kind of a counter-punch deck, so I think it's going to be okay. And interesting deck choice for the round, so that is a cool. And then we go to the much improved Noir of the Subway. This is a MM deck, and let's see what we got playing with here. So we got Eaton's Jar, Obsidian Forge. So we already got off to a great start in Dis with those, and then Stirring Grave is great for recurring things that are necessary. You got the Gambling Den, which I love Gambling Den, so it's so much fun. Double Bow Nithing, so that those Stirring Graves have great targets late game for lots of steel. Rad Penny is there as well, Cut Purse. So like just lots of like small bits of pressures that come from the shadows. The Gambling Den is just amazing. I have a double Gambling Den deck in this event with Rhodey on, so I'm excited to see him play that. It's a great deck. Pincerator is an amazing card here, as it will let you ping off your end pieces to recur the Rad Penny in, so that you can always have something to gamble on. So it's pretty good. So with that said, Untamed looks solid with all the bounce effects in the Savage Clash. Vault's Blessing, 9 mutants in the deck to go with the Vault's Blessing. That's really solid. Key Frog for a key cheat, like that's pretty good. So there's 2 key cheats in this deck with the Forge and the Key Frog. Lots of value, lots of good stuff here, and 16 raw amber. That's absolutely nuts. I just noticed that. That's that's pretty fast. So I think this deck is actually super scary. I think this is interesting because like again, you have a couple like things that I think are instant bans, but in a triad you look for the weakest link, and I don't think any of these decks are a weak link. So they're all very consistent and very good. So I'm going to guess that most people are going to let you play this one for sure, and I think it's a toss-up on what they're doing to whether they ban Funkins or Subway. But don't know because I'm not playing, so I don't know. But that is the results for Group D. So now we will move to Group E. Let's show Group E. Did I show you guys the people in? I don't even know if I let you guys pick from this one, did I? So that was bad on me. I should have been more fun about it. All right, so for Group E, let's go back and make sure you guys are having your fun as well. But I got caught up in the J Philippeg moment because the J Philippeg or J Felipe G, like I know that what his name is an acronym of. So, but I like J Philippeg. It's always been the way I've said it. So Group E is and the reason why is because he's picture perfect. Yeah, see, market that. So Group E, we have Easy Galina, Mirton VGC, Echo Ito, Lorenzo 99, Kiwi, Iridali, Lapore, the pair. So this bracket is insane. Like this has a lot of people in it that are really, really good. And if you don't know the international scene, then you might not know that, but this bracket is packing some heat, folks. It has, for one, the Highlander from last season, which is what we title the person who wins the event. And the Highlander basically last season was Kiwi. So let me get the drive up and see if people are on the Kiwi bandwagon, or if maybe there's a new sheriff coming to town from this group in people's opinion. Ooh, interesting. So I'm guessing there's probably a lot of Western people that did this and not as many of the Central people. Because in this group, there was a winner by 5 points, and it was not Kiwi. Kiwi was in second. But the winner of this group was actually... Who do you think? I'll give you guys the list again. Who do you think took the credit here? Oops, sorry. Wrong way. Who do you think it is? The Lone Ranger, Easy Galina. No, it's not him. It wasn't Galina. And I'll tell you personally, my pick. I didn't tell you what my pick was on this one. Let me tell you, but I'm pretty sure I remember that it was not Kiwi. I'm pretty sure I went with a different person. Yes, I did. I chose Iridali, because I watched him play all last season, and that guy's got some skills. And it was a coin flip for me between him and Kiwi, but Iridali just impresses me every time I watch him play. The guy is a monster. So that was my pick. But my pick, nor your picks, were the person that were picked. So I will go with that, and I'll tell you that as the picks were actually the picks were in favor of Echo Ito. Yeah, Echo Ito. Welcome to the club. A new face from the Team SAS LP. But to be fair, he did win, I think, the Sanctimonious sanctimonious group play, and I do believe that he is a threat. Like this is, like I said, this deck is really hard to pick because all the players in this group are really good. So it could really be anybody. So this is one that I think we could see some things happen. But I am looking at Echo Ito's list, and I think that he is loaded. Team SAS hooked him up a bit. So Echo Ito then is playing a good old classic Admiral Inslang, the Pink Fraud, Dunkaro's Pride and Joy. We all know this deck, man, that it is a monster when it goes off. It placed second in the Archon event Tournament of Champion, right behind Gasoline. And it was the favorite to win that tournament when they were streaming it. Everybody was picking this to beat Gasoline, but Gasoline was just too strong. This deck just makes Amber. It makes things happen, and it makes it happen really fast. And if the combo goes off, it will destroy the game state like quickly. Like you won't have much a chance. The only thing you can hope for is to disrupt just enough to keep yourself in the game. But this deck is straight gas. So this deck is A+ material. So then we have the Drab Mare of Selenio, a 92 SAS deck, one I'm not familiar with. I've not seen this deck around, but let's take a look at it and see what it is. 14 raw amber makes it pretty strong. It does have a interdimensional graft for scaling amber control. It does have board wipes with Harbingers of Doom. It does have ways to end the Harbinger of Doom with the draining touch so that you get value like instantly for a board wipe, which is really good. It has double EA on the fringes, which is amazing. I'm lost, but I'm just glad we were talking Keyforge. Yeah, I'm sorry, Andrew. Like, I know you're brand new to the game, so this is kind of like an update on like what the guys are playing and stuff. But hopefully some of these cards that we mentioned will be things that will kind of help you understand some of the values. But cards like EA on the fringes, like this card, basically when it comes into play, you get to discard a discard and then remove a discard from play and steal one, and that means you can steal out of your opponent's graveyard as well as your own. So like basically you can remove any discard in the game from a graveyard and gain one as long as you discard a card. So super good, super high value card, and like Harbinger Doom is basically a board wipe. It just destroys creatures and stuff. The Tato Vapors are really strong for basically archiving and basically drawing cards and just getting things moving. So whenever we talk about speed, we're talking about the idea of how fast you can get through your deck and how many cards you're drawing per turn kind of thing. You also see here that he has the Tribute Sixth Emperor combo with Tribute basically lets you capture 2, exalt a creature, the largest creature in play, and then capture 2 more, so you can capture 5. And then with Sixth Emperor, you can basically move all that amber to your pool and destroy the creature. So like you can basically get a pretty good amber spike off of that. He does have a Califigian Ideal as well that helps him to use amber off of the creatures to basically go and make extra keys using all this amber that he's capturing with the tributes and stuff like that. Does have the double Imperium to protect his dinos. Orator Hisaro, one of the most underrated cards in the game as far as like what it does. And basically when he comes into play, he makes neighbors into dinos and basically untaps them. So now you have more dinos to tap and use. Pretty cool. It has a universal recycle bend. This is the anti-Infernus card, because if you start Infernusing things that are good, they'll go right back to his archive, so that's really strong. This deck is really solid, so I expect to see good things out of this deck. This deck is really strong and good, and his Triad is not really slouching, because the last thing in his pile is Julius, and this is one of Team SAS's pride and joys. This is the Amphora Captura, like, pretty go-get-it deck. So it does a lot of really great things. Triple Lithologica, lots of value there. Cyber cloning, like lots of speed. This is like all the kind of stuff that you want to see. It does have the Wonder Twins and Saurian. It has the Faust city-state interest basically for amber control to bring cards back. You have the Mind Fires, for RNG luck and removal, card removal. Orator Hisaro Mom group think. Yeah, that's true. Like it can have mini group think. Yeah, it definitely combos with the EAs as well. That's pretty good. But anyhow, like there's all kinds of good things that were happening in that deck, but this deck right here has just as much stuff that is impressive to me. Anyway, so you have uh, three really hard choices. So I could see Echo Ito coming out of this bracket. I didn't know what he was using for decks, but that is a very healthy lineup and a tough one to ban from because, like I said, do you want to play against that super combo? Do you want to play against like the pure values? Like, very good lineup for Echo Ito. I could see him going pretty far in this tournament with that lineup now that I've seen what he has. Kind of scary, kind of scary. So now let's move on to Group F and let's see what Group F brings. So in Group F, this is the group that I think most people don't know who's who in the group. You have Armitaka, you have Callum, Menthol, Tuck, Sreds, Zaire, and Seb. Looking for a tournament, or is this a review of decks that have already played? This is we have the Keyforge Premier League. If you are on Twitch, you've heard or seen at least a little bit about it. But the league is kicking off this week, and these are all the group stages, the people in the groups for the group stage, and it's kind of like the World Cup where they're all going to play. The top person and the second and third person are going to basically get pushed into a playoff contention. The second and third person will play for a spot, and then the 16 people left in the tournament will play a winner take all best single elimination bracket tournament, and then at the end you'll have one winner. Last season it was Kiwi, and he took home $300 prize. The second place took $200. Third place took home $100. This season, first place will take home $350 plus a set of luxurious playstyle keys. Second place will take home $250, and third place will take home $150. So we've grown a little bit, so that's going to be amazing. And there was a poll basically for the who was going to win what. And if you are correct and the most correct person, they can win $25. And we're going to do it again for the top 16. So if you missed the one for the bracket stage, make sure that you are around and paying attention for the one that comes up for the top 16 bracket. All of this can be found on our Discord and stuff. If you haven't been to our Discord, somebody link the Discord in chat for me as I do this. But we'll move forward. So this is the group staging. So let's think. Out of this group, who do you think would win the popularity contest with the people's picks? I don't even recall who I picked for this one. But I got time to get in and get your votes in. These guys aren't pooling. These guys are playing. Most of these people have teams or like all the associations, the pictures next to it. Those are basically team pictures or group pictures that they play with or associated with. So like this is like teams trying to get their guy to the top, right? Like this is the premier event online. Single person play is like what we like to dub ourselves. So we want to basically see the best online player take home titles, and like we've had lots of success. And like Kiwi is definitely one of the best players in the world from Hamburger Atlanteans, and he was the one that won last season. Top four were Ugluk, Kiwi, Fierza, and Dammit 96. So it'll be interesting to see how many of those people can get back to that high ground. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, these are definitely elite players. They're not. These are not the people that are playing in the casual lobbies, I hope. But anyway, so with that said, time for picks are in. Let me know. I'm going to go back to my main screen so I can check out the drive and figure out who from Group H is favorite. I haven't seen any guesses. This one is tough. I think this is the toughest one to pick. Let's see what the percentages say. So the percentages say that there is a favorite, like a very heavy favorite here in the group, and it doesn't, I guess, surprise me to some sense. But that person is Callum SLZ, one of the Screech Babam guys, and that doesn't surprise me because he has the most exposure. He's the one that comes on and does commentary with us during the events and stuff like that. So people at least know who Callum is. So therefore, he probably got the tip in this category. For this category, I actually picked Zaire. because Zyar I watched play last season. He's a returning player, and I know he has Azawan, which is a deck that is absolutely amazing, Gankit style madness. But I trust in Zyar's ability to think about the game and play, so we're gonna go with it. So yes, Callum was the winner of this group's popularity contest, and we will look at his decks. Bum bum bum. Let me bring him up. Boom boom boom. Callum. I know he's playing one of my old decks as well, I believe. I believe he's on Alslang, which I know a lot about Alslang. Yep, he is. Awesome. So let's talk about this. Boom. So Allslaying, Spinosulfuro. I can give you a great heads up on this one because this was one of my decks, one of my very favorite decks. This deck has potential to go off huge. Has Shatterstorm, which is a card I absolutely love for control. Has the library access with the Help from Future Self push. It just plays lots of super value, lots of bouncing effects. Just good value stuff. Like this deck is very consistent and it plays very strong, so it will be. The pairings are already on the site. Well, actually, on the site I don't know. I can't answer that, but that is something we will address. All right, but yeah. So the pairings, like I got them all. They're all linked inside of your group chats, though. So anybody that is in the league has access to what their pairings are. But the site is kind of down at the moment as they are revamping it and refacing it. So we'll see what happens. More Callum versus Tuck, yes. That is sad that they got put in the same group, but they did get stuck there. All right, so this deck just plays high quality, good stuff. Guilty Hearts will be interesting. It does a lot of work with the new meta with dinosaurs and stuff like that. Mother, obviously there for extra speed, does like really well in just drawing and playing pips. This deck just is, again, a tempo deck. It's like I'm going to build and then I'm going to take away. I'm going to build, I'm going to take away. Once you get the Battle Fleet rolling with the Orbital Bombardment, Shatterstorm and stuff, does a lot of really great work. This is like a deck that I used to play that just absolutely highlights the power of Shatterstorm and how good it can basically pull back games, especially like right after you make a key, you just add 1 or 2 Amber to your pool and just rip your guy's whole Amber progression. Shatterstorm is an MVP card in my category, one of the best in the business when it comes to Amber Denial and Amber Girl Scroll, so that is that. His second deck that he has picked is Randolph Hammer. Deck I'm not familiar with, but I do see that it does have a key charge, does have a board wipe. It says it has a board wipe. Where's the board wipe? What kind of board wipe is this? Unnatural selection. Kind of shaky board wipe. Not a lot of Amber control, so this is absolutely just going for the throat and trying to make Amber, using its speed to basically get value to make a lot of pressure, right? It looks like. So this deck is interesting and will definitely have its place in the way you play it. So this is one I'm guessing he's familiar with and gets the full value. As I'm looking here, the Star Alliance has some pretty cool synergies with the Kirby's and the creatures that they're bringing into play with the Crash Muldoon and the Driscolls and stuff like that. But the Ghost Hawks will add to the speed, being able to reap if creatures are left on board. You have the Murmuk twins with Imprinted and Mustic Murmuk for taxing and lowering prices, so that'll be interesting to go with. And then you double Igor is always good, lots of speed. So this is an interesting deck, and but I'm not sure how it's going to line up against some of the other stuff that we're going to see here. So that is Randolph, and his third deck, I guess I didn't bring it up. Let me bring that up, because I guess I did not. So peekaboo. I thought I clicked on it, but I guess I did not. So the third one is Shan Matriarch de Rocher Malin. So here we go with a Graviton deck. Now we're talking. This deck is going to fly. Triple Bow Nithing is pretty gross. Master Mindy, or Mindy, however you want to put it. I'm going with Master Mindy because I think it's the play on words, but we're going to go with that. Oh, this is not your deck? Ah. Callum. Alslang. Randolph. Logan. This is your deck then, Callum? Logan. So Callum's here. He could tell you a little bit about the. Okay, so he could tell you a little bit about the other one. So this is his other deck, 82 tempting offers, 3 of them. So that's good, like kind of pacing play. Lots of serums. This is one. I think this is Kate's deck, right? I think this is one of Kate's deck. So this deck just plays to an insane amount of speed out of things that you wouldn't normally get speed out of. Dark Amber Vault, 9 mutant, and lots of just raw amber pips. So this thing actually moves at light speed, and it does enough to disrupt the game that it is quite fast and quite annoying to people. Triple Dominator Bobble also helps with engaging other houses, as well does this the mutagenic serum. So this deck looks odd, but I've seen it played, and it does really nice things. So I'm excited to watch you play this deck, Callum, as I've not got to see this deck played a lot, but I've heard lots of things. And Logan the Dubious sounds like a very wise, pretty good. 4x mutagen is a whole bunch of serums. Yes, this is a whole bunch of serums, but they do give you a pip, and they do give you use of all 9 of your mutants. So I don't think they're horrible. I think they're going to get some work done. But lots and lots of artifacts here. All this needs really is a whatchamacallit, Oath of Poverty, right? You'd be stoked. But in all reality, the reason why this deck also moves fast and something to think about is that with all the artifacts that he does have, that's 9 cards he can weed out of his deck and basically get to his creatures and stuff again, and his spells that he wants again, and play them in a more rapid procession. So the longer the game goes, the faster this deck gets, and the better this deck gets. So that's something to think about when you're looking at this, and you would be choosing who you would ban. But pretty sweet group here, and Callum, you are the favorite here, so don't let your people down. As we move forward, we will take a peek. Again, this is all based off of fan voting, so there's not a whole bunch of things that are going to there's no like professional guessing on this stuff. So let's see. Oh, for that group, who did I pick for that group? Did I tell you guys? I don't remember if I told you that guy. Oh yeah, I did. I picked Zyar. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, that was a really tough group to pick because everybody is kind of on the same level, I think, and it'll be interesting. So now we move to Group G, which I will put up on the screen. Group G, and we will bring that up, and you see that is Sodafly, John Lang, BF Radar, PM Canassa, Vince T, Dammit 96, and Vincenzo. So who do you guys got on this one? That's the question. This is another pretty solid group, I think. I think I remember who I picked for this one. Yes, that's what I thought. So let me know what your guesses are, and then I'll share my guess, and we'll give you the reveal of who, by a lot, won this group. Very popular pick here out of this group. George is going to pick the hometown guy. It's got to be Vince for him, right? Which Vince? Vince T or Vincenzo? Just kidding. I know you're talking about Vince T, I'm guessing. But with that said, representing Sasha, nice. Sasha's a great deck. But the runaway with this was last season's runner-up, and that is damn it, 96. Damn it, 96. As I bring up his decks, sorry. Hopefully I didn't misclick any other people's decks. I don't think so. Good catch on that one though, Callum. Alright, so making sure I got them all right this time, and I do. Now you have me paranoid. The paranoia bubble sets in. So let's look at group. Let's look at damage choices for this season. So this season we see a Mass Mutations deck, 85, Layla La Special de Biblioteca Ballerina. So the special ballerina of the library or something? Interesting. Um, interesting. I don't know how that breaks out in Italian, but it's basically saying that it's a librarian specialist ballerina or something. Like very interesting. Vince T. Not Vince Tuck, Vince T. Right? Like there's a difference. Like I had to learn that the hard way in a stream. So there is basically 16 raw amber here, so the value and speed of this deck is going to be through the roof. Amber, a dark amber vault to with an auto encoder with 8 mutants. This deck is just disgustingly fast. 25 speed is not something to scoffle at. You have the interruption type stuff with perplexing sophistry. I think it's a great tempo card. Bouncing Death Quirk to bring back board states. Transporter platform to help with the things. We do see that there are enchantments on on some of the on the things. So let's see. He's got a draw on the one enchantment, and he has damage and amber pip, and that's it. So like he gets a draw and amber. He gets basically 2 amber, a damage, and a draw every turn with the transporter platform if he's using it. So that's not too scary, but it's still pretty good. Double bow nithing, pretty solid. Brad Penny. What's the pip on the penny and the bow nithing? That'll be interesting. Penny has a draw and a capture, so that penny is actually pretty badass. And then there is a draw on the vandalize and on the bow nithing. So this deck looks to be pretty solid, MM. This is a good dark amber vault deck with just a lot of value. So pretty scary overall for people that are looking at what is going on with that. All right, so the second deck that he has is B.E. Wadsworth. Sounds like a commercial for like somebody that's trying to like loan you money. But this deck right here is Cincinnatus Rex Spiral combo. Worlds Collide's goodness, right? That's the busted thing to have. You do see that it also has the Tribute Pompatus, which means that all those Amber Pips now are just going to make the Dino that much bigger and harder to kill. So that's interesting. No bounce effects means you could have a tough day with this one. It has the Imperial Scudum to protect the large amounts of Amber as well. So and the Imperium. So this is a very strong story, and then you look at this. It has double fair games, which could be very spiky. Has a poltergeist for some amber control. That's pretty sweet. We do see the Harbinger of Doom for some board wipe ability. Doesn't have a instant way to kill it, so that's kind of slow. The Buzzles for just value skirmish, like go. I think you could use those to actually weed out some of the bad creatures in the deck. The Lithal is decent. And then you look at Shadows, you have the Hawk there for some more amber control. No safety in numbers. This card actually does pretty good work against board states that get too wide. So, and with the amount of amber that's going to be propelled onto these dinos, like that's a really good card for getting rid of stuff off the board because the dinos can suck up to 3 damage pretty easy. You see the Rigged Lottery, which is always a nice amber push, the Too Much to Protect. 2 Ronnie Risk Clocks to go with that, and you have the Bren the Fanatic that combos really nicely with the no safety in numbers to basically get a rip and steal some, or give an amber but steal 3. So like you net 2 off of that exchange. You're netting 3 really because you're giving them that 1 extra amber and then taking it right back. And then we do have the Spike Trap as well for the Brend. So lots of ways to enable the Brend here. The speed is a little bit slow overall, but I think this is a board state and a tempo like they're going to basically look to build the board and try to win through the board. So 13 raw amber is nothing to sneeze at as well. Does have like the scaling amber control there, so with the Too Much to Protect, and like I'm guessing this board wipe is the Harbinger. Yeah, but the Harbinger I'm kind of questionable on. But again, you don't really want to be board wiping this deck because this deck has a lot of great value. And the Odak, the 2 Odaks will be very cumbersome and annoying to some people who are trying to look to play that steel game. So great deck choice here in B.E. Wadsworth. And his third deck is K. Miller and Zima de Pecoramite. I guess that's how you say that. Yeah, draw 2 with, Davan platform. Man, that's true. That's going to be pretty gross. So there's lots of value there. But here is his Coda deck, and his Coda deck is just a pure Coda efficiency deck. Lots of speed, lots of ways to make keys. This deck is going to go fast, and it's going to make a lot of amber, and it's going to make a lot of keys. And it has like the counterpunch. This is like an amazing tempo deck. I love this deck. This deck would be one I would put in my collection if I could get it. It's pretty solid all across the board. It does all the things you want to do out of Coda. Double Nature's Call, not a scoff with the Chota Hazari and Double Hunting Witch. Lots of value there with the Fagin, Triple Urchin, Ghostly Hands. Like this deck is going to move in ways that some people might not be able to handle, and it's going to be super fast. So kudos to this threesome. This is definitely something that could propel Dammit 96 back to the top 4, and get him where he wants to go. So that was that group, and that was the favorite from that group in Dammit 96, who was not my choice. My choice to win this one was actually Beerforge's Radar. He's a new face on the scene. He is a guy that I've played a lot with online and ran into and stuff. And since he's like since he is basically the only Beerforge guy, there is a definitely a amazing chance that he's bringing some loaded decks. So I hedged my bet here towards Radar, even though Dammit has the track record. So with that said, good luck on that group, Group G. And the last group, and not the least group, is going to be Group H. And Group H was actually pretty runaway here as well. So who do you guys believe won Group H as the question, as I will show you the names. And this is an interesting group as well, because this is actually one that has Anxious Pirate from the United Archons, D-Champ from the United Archons, Fireza from Reapout, Alex Sheplev from SAS, Andy Ming from Team Labwork, Pock from the United Archons, and Gorebelly from the United Archons. So from in this group right here, we have 4 people that made the top 16 last season. So that's already saying a lot. And so who do you guys think was the popular pick to win here? Because I will tell you one thing. I know who I picked, and it's not who is the most popular. So I will say that. Give you a couple seconds to answer, and then I'm moving on. All right. So the SAS average in this group. Maybe we'll put out those kind of stats. It's something we'll run by Kate and stuff. We'll be doing some math and stuff for the weekend show on Sunday. We'll be bringing you guys some stats and stuff, as well as results from week 1's group play. This deck, Fireza is a good choice. He did place in the top 4 last round, right? Like it doesn't seem like a bad choice, right? But the runaway person for this, why does this keep doing that? Jesus Christ. All right, so the runaway person from this group is actually Alex Sheplev. Andy Ming is king. I think Andy Ming had one of the more impressive runs. Like this group is like way better than people are gonna like expect. And I say this because I know who came from what. My choice to win this one is Anxious Pirate, because I know what he's playing. I know what we put on him, and he's a really solid player. So he was my choice for this one. But let's take a peek then at Alex Sheplev and what he's bringing to the table. Another Team SAS player. So what I'm guessing is that SAS players really did a good job of filling out the forums, because they propelled a couple of their guys up in the ranks here. So let's find Sheplev. Alex Sheplev, and he has the first round bye, so he's off to a good start. So, all right, his 3 decks. Okay, I do see some familiars here. Let's get into them. Number 1. Go. Last room and playing. There we go. Donovan of Jerez Tread Haunt. This is a Coda deck. Yeah, this is going to be a really tough group. So we have a quad, routine job, good dis, house, Coda, logos, library access, lots of pips to run and play through. Neutron Shark for that extra, like, make sure that you don't get stuck behind an artifact or you know, a bad board state card. Screaming Cave to recycle these routine jobs when you get to the end of it. I found in some of the decks I've owned that have Screaming Cave and 4 routine job that sometimes that could be a kind of a counter thing. So I can expect to see Screaming Cave played sometime, but like I don't know how often it will actually be used. And it will be interesting. Actually, he's not, because like the people who win will be above him, but because there's no points for buys because it's round robin. So with that said, this is just a really solid deck. Routine jobs, 4 routine jobs, never just something to laugh at. Lots of tempo and pace here. Just doing good Coda things, and this is why Coda will always be one of the better sets, because it can basically just take over and dominate a game and get a game over with quick. And I think that's what is could happen here with Donovan. So next we have the Brooklyn Fused Titan. This is a deck I've not seen or before, so let's take a good look at it. This is a Worlds Collide deck, and it has Encounter Suit with lots of cool Star Alliance tools with Medic Ingrams and stuff. So lots of protection from Star Alliance here. What is it protecting? That's the question, right? Only 9 raw amber, so it's not moving the fastest. It has decent amount of shadows here for good shadows plays and stuff like that. But it looks like this deck is really just tempoing on Star Alliance. Double Exhume, Gleeful Mayhem, Hysteria, Poltergeist for artifact control. That's nice. Key to Dis. So lots of just board control and value, and then like running a late game Infernus count to basically keep you in the game and keep you moving where you want to be, it looks like. And then using shadows and stuff to basically bring back the stuff that you want to. Gleeful Mayhem is very underrated, so that is an interesting card. And just kind of like a good stuff deck, right? This is one that I think that it comes with value in piloting, and I'm sure he's piloted this deck before. It must be one of his, as it is definitely one that No Sleep Till Brooklyn. All right, Alex Sheplev. So this might be a borrowed deck, but I don't know. But No Sleep Till Brooklyn, and I guess Brooklyn is the finals. That's what I'm hoping. That's an old Beastie Boy reference right there, if you guys don't know. So exciting to see what this deck will do if it gets played and when it gets played. Pretty good. And then his last deck will be something in Russian that I'm not going to even try. If he's here, he can maybe give it a nickname. I don't know. But this is his Mass Mutations deck. Eaton's Jar, again, making its presence known. Eaton's Jar is very good. Going to be very tough to play against if you are a deck that is playing multiple efficiencies. Eaton's Jar is almost always going to pull some kind of pullback, like some kind of a hate. I think it gets banned more than not. Then you see that we do have the Safe Place Bonithing. Oh, that's not Safe House, it's Safe Place. So that's not as good as I thought. Double Bonithing. Mind Over Matter here is actually very interesting. That card could actually do some work here with the amount of Bonithings and things that come into play, like Infernus's, and bouncing all that stuff back to your hand in order to play it again. With the Mind Over Matter and clearing your opponent's board state. Pretty solid. This is just a value deck again. Like, he's playing a lot of really just solid value decks. He wants to be in a position where he can make choices and, you know, basically affect the game in a way that he wants to affect the game through the plays that he makes. So very fine deck choices here. Jar Serum is Jar is really good. Eaton's Jar is one of the more oppressive cards in the game. Doesn't get as much value or thought because it's a rare, so it doesn't get seen like some of these commons and uncommons. But if it was anything but a rare, I would be sad, because that card is straight oppressive. It's almost as bad as Heart of the Forest in a different way. So that's not true. Heart of the Forest is absolutely horrible. But Eaton's Jar can be pretty bad because it basically takes out one of the cogs of any kind of sequence that you have in your deck. So makes it strong, very, very strong. And that was basically the fan favorites of the group. And again, we'll have a written article about that soon, and we'll be doing a bit more of a recap of that as we go along through the week. But I figured we'd do that for fun, as people have been asking who the favorites were for the groups, and there you go. I gave you the favorites. I gave you the top people, and I gave you the ideas. Now, I will say that the deck lists for for KFPL this season are bonkers. I think that's the way I'll put it. Bonkers. And let me bring up, since I got a little bit of time left before I got to run, let me bring up the pin of the decks that are registered. Let's take a look at some of these extra decks that are registered, because I think you guys are going to be actually like awestruck by the amount of quality of decks that we have. So let's take a look. So here's at the top of the list, we have a 97 SAS. That's the highest SAS in the tournament. This is X Peters. I know that this is Mike Funey's deck from the United Archons Prime, and somebody's playing this deck. I don't remember who, but somebody has this deck, and is being piloted in the tournament. This is basically a pure control deck. Gets tons of value off of EA Harbinger and just keeping the board state. Favor of Rex does a lot of work here. It has the Desania and the Edai, so like it just has a lot of different tools, and the better you are at playing this deck, the better it is. I used to own this deck as well. I traded it to Mike to get some stuff, and I'm glad to have it back in our team collection, or always been in our team collection. Mike's always been one of my teammates, but like he is very blessed to have this deck. This deck is absolutely fantastic, and when it's piloted correctly, it usually goes down a key or so, and then it just locks the game up, and the game is over. So this deck is pretty amazing. Then we have Ikari the Badly Curious. This is one of Z's pets. This is one of the decks that has been around and people have seen it. Again, you notice it has like just lots of tools and discs, lots of Exhumes, Lord Invidious, Snag, all this good stuff. Desania, Edai, it just does lots of really good things, but it can suffer to any like bounce effects and things like that, because a lot of the value of this deck comes from the Tribute Pompatus and the Senator Brachus, and basically getting Amber off of that grouping. So this deck is still amazingly good, and it's going to do crazy amounts of value, I'm sure, in this tournament. Code Monkey is not something to scoff at in this deck, and neither is the Interdimensional Graft. Obviously, it's this 97 for a reason. And then we see Odin El Aggresso in the tournament. This is a deck that I've seen pitched on the sites, and kind of bragging about like this deck, and this deck is straight gas. 16 raw amber, lots of ways to draw through your deck, using speed from Time Traveler and stuff like that. Triple control of the week for tons of disruption and value. Poltergeist, key to dis, like all the tools. These are all the tools that we talk about for Coda, and they're all here, and they're all here in abundance. So Eaton's Jar is probably banned when this deck is played, because you don't want to get banned on those control of the weeks. It definitely would diminish the power of this deck, but that's how powerful Eaton's Jar is. You can turn your 96 into an 86 real quick. And then we have another team deck of mine, Daphne Vega. I know where this one is. And it's a lateral shift with the Red Baron. It just plays lots of value. Code Monkey gets tons of value here. It has the Desania, triple EA on the fringes. Really great, especially if you're playing against a lot of dis, which it seems to be a pretty good amount of dis in this group. So with that all said, this is going to be an interesting deck to watch as well. One of my favorite decks in the game. Like I love this deck. I've played it multiple times, and it always seems to do very well. Not unbeatable, but it definitely does a lot of things really well, so it's hard to stop. So this deck is pretty solid. The Man That Borrows the Vortex. This is another deck in my collection. This is actually mine, that is being borrowed out, and this one is a just like really strong Worlds Collide good stuff deck as well. I just got it, so I'm still learning the tricks, but there are a lot of really cool tricks in here with the Harbinger of Doom and using the Obsidian Forge to get board wipes, EA of the Fringes to basically steal. In case of us wanting to watch. I'm going to be twitching, like if you're sub to Twitch, the games will be on Twitch live. We are getting people scheduled for 4 or so games a week, plus we'll try to record some and put some on the YouTube in raw content as well. So really, you just have to pay attention to Twitch and YouTube, and you will get all the content you want, Andrew, and with commentary and people talking about the game. So hopefully, and we're going to make it in a way. And then the Sunday recap shows, I'm going to try to make it more tailored towards people that are new like you, with more explanation of things and what is going on with these cards and stuff. This is just kind of like an overview, a quick look for the people that are curious to what is in the set. So but again, this deck is doing lots of cool things as far as just value play, and like lots of value creatures, and like lots of interhouse connection and stuff like that. So this is one of my decks. It's very, very good. Spartosaur does some work. Again, kind of new to my collection, so still breaking it in, but fantastic. Maestra della Rabbi de Kinsel. I don't know if this deck is Clint's or not. I know he has a deck called Maestra, but I don't know if it's this one. But again, this is just that good stuff value from Coda. When you see logos, shadows in Untamed, or you see logos, shadows, and Dis in Untamed, usually they got to do things. So, what we doing around here? I don't know what we doing around here. So. So this is basically another just like speed sigil, like goodness. Now speed sigil is kind of not as good as it used to be because it is one of those things where worlds collide and mass mutations will make you pay for having a speed sigil, but it's still got value. It still has play value. You just have to know what you're playing into if you're playing it and know when to discard it. But this deck has a lot of tools as well with the miasmas and the Nature's Call, Hunting Witches combos with things. But the thing it doesn't have is a key cheat. So that's kind of where I'm skeptical about like the real value here. This is straight tempo, back and forth pushing, but it's a fair game kind of deck. And there's so many decks in here that are not playing a fair game that it might suffer a little bit. So we'll see. Here's Let the Cloud. We've already talked about this one earlier, right? So won't go too much over Let the Cloud. Miss Tripitiguy, the Memorable Carpenter. This is a 93 SAS deck. I believe this is Blitties. So this is another Teammates deck. I think he borrowed it out, but double Snecklifter, double Urchin. Lots of like recurring value, triple Dust Pixie. So this is the type of deck that again is going to is going to ban Eaton's Jar like as soon as it sees it, because it can't win against Eaton's Jar because Eaton's Jar will just shut off like the Dust Pixies or something and just kill the value here. But there's still plenty of value to be had with the Dust Imps and the Arises, Gateways, etc. But it would definitely cripple the deck quite a bit. And it not having a key cheat again is playing a fair game Amber game, so that's kind of scary in its own right. And the Shadow Shelves or the Snacklifters don't really remove the threat of the Eaton's Jar. So interesting choices there with Miss Trippy. Guru F. Zarwill, 93. Triple Exhume, triple Too Much to Protect, double Eat-Eye, Neutron Shark. So this deck has, again, all the tools. It's playing great Worlds Collide stuff. Good speed, 13 Raw Amber. So this is a good tempo pacing deck too. Triple Exhume is gross. Double Infernus, Collar of Subordination, a very underrated, great card. Neutron Shark. This is a sick deck. I wouldn't mind owning this one as well. Triple Too Much to Protect, some might say is too much, but I say it's just right because you know you're going to have that thing in your hand at a timely manner. It doesn't really have a way to pay off your Too Much to Protect though. It's kind of scary. Like Hugger Mugger really being the only thing that can come in behind it and take away that extra piece of amber. But that's like the only real kink in this deck I see. Everything else looks really solid. K Miller, this is a deck that we've already seen. We've already talked about this one a little bit. Double Nature's Call, Hunting Witch, just zoom, 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 super fast, super good quality type plays, and nothing you can really do to slow it down or stop it other than, deny it from existing. So it's pretty cool. Can I ask for deck review? Yes, I could deck review you if you want. We'll do that tomorrow. How's that? I will look up your decks and give you a solid deck review tomorrow. So we're getting down to Drab. We've already seen that one. FR Torkson of the Streetwise Deep. This is double Tribute, double Six Emperor, triple Infernus. Lots of cool stuff here. Like this is pretty good value. It does have lots of board wipes. It does have a key cheat to make the game a little bit more unfair in the Triumph. It is, transporter platform, probably some goodness on the value there. Let's see. It doesn't have. Never mind. There's not pips on these, but he has Blaster. It's like really transporter is gonna get you value, I guess, off the Kirby's mostly here to get into other houses, like especially like in your Saurian, you have lots of really good Saurian spells. So pretty sweet deck. Camilla Aguilar, 92 SAS here. Punctuated Equilibrium Madness. Lots of Infernus, Essence Scaling. Essence Scale doesn't really have a great use here. Do you have the Johnny Longfinger with 6 mutants? That's pretty solid. That's a great card. Triple Opportunist is interesting. As you'll be able to play those on your opponents and then get those amber back when you bounce them with the Lost in the Woods kind of thing. Savage Clash is around for like narrowing the board down. 14 Raw Amber. Looks like this is just going to control the board, play lots of value, tempo out. Pretty solid. Looks decent. Looks pretty good. This is one of my decks as well, Warthog Benedict. This deck is super good, just straight value. You almost don't even have to think when you play this deck. You just play cards, and it finds ways to win. The hardest decisions you have in this deck really are playing Strange Gizmo and Key to Dis and when to use them. Everything else just kind of plays itself out. Lots of value. This is like pure tempo and the kind of deck that I thrive with. So I'm a big fan to see this one played. It's going to be great. Sasha, here's a cult classic, the Mars Generosity, double Mars Generosity Key Abduction deck with Juggernaut Ganger Chieftain, one of the best AOA decks in the world right here in the set. Just does lots of good things really well and combos like crazy. So good to see Sasha here. There's another very popular deck in Picard. Picard has made its rounds in the circuit as well. I've seen this deck a lot with the Punctuated Equilibrium, Double Nature's Call, the tributes, and all the good fun with Gargantodon and just pure value plays. This deck is fantastic. Deidre, we've already talked about that. That's Nathan's. Galaxy Tycho, another all-star favorite. This deck has won a couple of Vault Tours with different pilots, I believe, or at least done really well at every Vault Tour it's been to. This deck does great things for people. So just pure value, tempo, speed. It has all the tools. Like it has all the things. Again, with the Dis Logos Untamed from Coda that you want, and basically just controls the game and paces the game in a way that is absolutely great and fantastic. So this will be a fun deck to watch. It will do very well, I'm sure, if it does not get banned. Yak Street, an infamous deck. This is This is the deck that Joe Huber used to pilot before he's now quit playing Keyforge, and the deck has ended up with Blitty, and Blitty is on my team, and this is our team deck, but it is I think loaned out to somebody. This is maybe on Team SAS even. But this is a deck that just plays lots of pure value, lots of things that go back and forth. It's a very solid deck. It's very good. But it is the infamous Yak Street, the Countess of Stoke Pit. And this deck is fantastic. It plays super well. I was after this deck for a really long time, and just never got around to getting a deal that made sense to me. So Yak Street, pretty solid. Then we got Brooklyn Fuse Tendon. We've already talked about this one. This is one of the highlight ones. Wadsworth highlight. Donovan was a highlight. Vita Hook, Messenger de la Fonte Vital. I don't know if I said that right, but we might even get to your decks today, Kidman, if you're hanging out long enough. But this deck right here is a 14 Amber, Raw Amber, so that's going to get a lot of push. It does have a key cheat to be a little bit unfair with the Redacted, especially if it comes out early. You see lots of value in speed in the Logos house to really push through the deck. That's great, especially when you're looking at some of the things that are surrounding it. You have the Matter Maker to kind of bring things online from other houses for these upgrades. You see that in Dis we have like some interesting stuff. Painmail is going to be really good in this Dis heavy meta. Painmail is a wonderful card, so I'm looking to see some good things out of this deck. This deck will do some work, I'm sure. It's going to be a threat, like every other deck we've seen. This is going to be a crazy event. We see a Pale Star for the first time in Hillen, the author of Alter Bay. This deck is looking like triple Savage Clash, like lots of board control here. Does have a key sheet with the Key Frog. Does have 14 Raw Amber, so there is a push there. Lots of board control, lots of recursion with Stirring Grave. Pale Star could do some real work here. Does have the safe place, which is not the safe house. Bonithing. So he has two Bonithings, Rad Penny. I think we actually might have talked about this one. Maybe not. There's a deck that's very similar to that we did talk about. Here we have Poltigilia, another UAP deck that is lent out to an Atlantean. I believe this is Kiwi's deck for the tournament, but this is one of his decks, and it's a 7 Sins deck with lots of value. Triple Curry, Bonithing Safe House. I personally love this Sins deck. It's one of my favorite in the world as I've seen of 7 Sins. Unfortunately, I didn't get it, but Clint did, so I was happy with that. And it's in the team collection, and this deck is really a high roll deck, like if it gets rolling, like you're just not going to be able to deal with the board and all the sins. Obviously, the sins are absolutely gross, and going to do dirty things. Yeah, redacted is very good. This is one of my decks, Candle Holder, the Shrewdly Hardened, recently acquired. But this is double Gambling Den, Vault's Blessing, 6 Mutants, Val Jericho, double Anthony, triple Infernus, triple Stirring Grave. Like, this deck is absolutely fun to play because we're gambling the whole way, and I love gambling. So this deck is one that I played a lot this weekend, and absolutely going to be bonkers fun to play. I can't wait to see it in action. I hope it gets there. This has so many ways to just oppress your Gambling Den advantage by using your Anthony's on recursion with the Stirring Graves, and then using Grim Reminder to bring back your 3 Infernuses, etc. Lots of tools in this deck, lots of interesting things to do. This deck is a lot better than just the tricky Gambling Den thing that you see. So I'm a big fan of it. I know Z is not like overly a big fan of it, but I'm excited to see that deck played. So then we see Enslang, the Pink Floyd. We've already talked about that Vault Tour winner. Reaver Zoe Ammerhooks is looks like a Key Abduction, Martian Generosity. So we have a very good Martian Generosity deck that actually is packing Dysania, double Sutterkin, Poltergeist, double Unlocked Gateways. This is a really nice list for Martian Generosity. It has the Mars first, but it unfortunately doesn't have the proliferators. It had proliferators, this deck would be insane. Because you'd be able to basically recur this stuff a little bit faster and a little bit easier. But Hypnotic Command is not something to sneeze at, especially when you're in the middle of a big Martian Generosity turn, right? So this deck has a lot of potential to be something pretty nasty. Cardiff, the Illustrator of the Market, is lots of raw amber, 15 raw amber. Interesting exhumes. Triple exhumes, interesting with no name. Has lots of speed. It has the Dysania. Dysania is a premium here. We know that card is actually really good in the metas where people are trying to archive and get more speed. So that is a really nice card to see in a lot of lists. It's going to definitely be game altering. So don't sleep on Dysania. She might be the MVP of the tournament. Double Kirby's Blaster, that's gross. With double Kirby, that's a lot of speed and drawing cards right there. So this deck looks like super fun. Sultana Uraka Donovan, this is a known deck. I've seen this deck around a bit, and does really good things with Primus Ungus. Senator Brachus doing like the big Dino stuff with tributes and 6 Emperors. And then you have like really solid Star Alliance stuff, and then you have all the speed in the world with Logos and a lot of archiving and things that are going to push that Data Forge to a new top. So this is a really cool deck. Very excited to see this back in action. The Amberful Archivist of Cranrun. This is another U8P deck. This is super solid. Great stuff. And you know, Ultra Graviton, it's coming. New Frontiers, Gleeful Mayhem, all that stuff. Just does lots of really good things, and the pips and stuff are relevant in this deck. They do work, so we shall see what comes of that one. Who the Feckless, another United Archons faithful in the quad routine job format with double Gateway, double Ember Imp, like Mimicry, Grasping Vines will be relevant. Lots of really good stuff in who just plays really solid a lot, and then Witch of the Eyes for recursion. Like who's a good one? So Warwick, we have Warwick 20 Zide Debt Tree, pretty solid, looking good. So we'll see what happens with that, and see what happens. Okay, and then I gotta basically go. I got some stuff I gotta do. I gotta make a call. Savagely Abandoned Pyroalis. This is one of my teammates' decks. You guys say you guys don't know Vaft. This is a Vaft deck, and you will get to know this deck. This deck is super good, and hopefully he gets to play it. 4 more Wolves, not so good in most decks, but this deck, he makes them work, and then lots of just great value with the Infernuses and stuff. So we'll get to see all that stuff. So Lots and lots of very powerful decks. What is the lowest deck on the scale here? Let's find out. It is... It's going to have to be 60-something, because we saw 66 with Grant, right? There we go. Let's see. What is the lowest on the totem pole? 66. We have 166, and it is the deck that Grant is piloting. So he gets the lowest SAS scored deck in a triad group. We do have some other ones though. So we've got a 67 here. We have 69. Then we jump up to 73 plus. So you see in tournament levels that 73 to 77 range is huge for things, but at the top end, like you're looking 80 plus nowadays. It looks like lots and lots of value in this tournament. So with all that said, United Archons Prime, this is Jupiter. Hope you enjoyed the breakdowns. Because 66 just means, yeah, 66 is the lowest SAS in the tournament. So all that means is that SAS thinks that the cards that are being played in that deck are not as strong as the cards being played in other decks. That's all SAS means. You can win with the 66, trust me. That 66 is deadly. It's Heart of the Forest deck. It's going to do really good things as well. But some people are really strapped on SAS, so it's the talking point when people are talking about decks. But SAS is not the end-all be-all of anything, but it does do a very good job of quantifying decks that are better than other decks. So it's not to be scoffed at either. But with that said, I use SAS in my initial evaluation of decks a lot. So it's not that it's not valuable, but it's not the end-all be-all. As everything always has exceptions to rules and to things that you're doing. So yeah, so that's all good, and we will talk more about things. And I got to take on some things, and I got to make some calls. It sounds like my kids might be being stupid, so I might have to go deal with them. But with all that said, I hope you guys have a good day. Thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow we will get into some more games and hanging out. If you have any questions about the Keyforge Premier League, feel free to shoot me a PM about it, and we'll talk about anything you guys want to talk about. This was kind of fun. I'm glad I got to kind of relax and just do a review with you that I was going to be doing anyway as I make up content for this week. So we will see. Time limit each game is 35 minutes. So each deck has 35 minutes to play, and then it's over. So that way you can't take time from game 2 and 3 from one game. So it's basically 35 minutes each game, and then they'll play to the end. If there's tiebreakers, but then you go into the next game without losing the time for the game. So that's the way we decided to do it. So that is the time limits. But with all that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream, and hopefully you on YouTube enjoyed as well. If you haven't liked or followed or subscribed and all that stuff, do all the free stuff. That's great. And then if you're a Prime member, you do have a free Prime Prime subscription. Use it on us. We would love it if you're not using it someplace else. But if not, that's fine too. Because again, we just do it. But like I said, anything I make off of this streaming stuff, I eventually get back into the pool, and that's why the pool keeps going up. And hopefully we'll get to even higher numbers soon enough. But with all that said, thank you so much for everything. And I'm Jupiter from Alias New York, aka the 5th Planet Keyforge. And I wish you guys the best in your day, and keep forging. And may the amber roll with you.
Killing machine.